Good morning, Bardstown and Nelson County, and welcome to Bradford Brooks. Jim Brooks and Margie Bradford with you on this beautiful sunny Wednesday morning in beautiful downtown Bardstown. Good morning, Margie.
Good morning, Jim.
Well, I tell you, I'm glad the weather looks like it's going to warm up a little bit. I think we're already at the yesterday's high temperature, I think, or we'll be there shortly.
Well,
That's
great.
good. That's good. Well, Margie, I know I'll let you complete this, but I know they wanted to start the announcement about a No Kings rally locally, and I think that's Saturday, I believe, at around the old courthouse downtown.
Yes, on the 28th, and it's from 10 to 12. And it's part really of a national movement of people who want to protest against the unilateral movements of our president about a number of things. And the theme is that there have been major decisions, such as going into a war with Iran and imposing tariffs, and Congress was not consulted at all, and which is in the Constitution and a democratic process. So it is to object to that.
Right. Well, and I think those are some valid concerns. And this Republican Congress has kind of given up or not taken the.
Well, they've just given up. They've been a nothing.
Right.
They really haven't done anything.
Especially constitutionally, the acts of the president's administration that require congressional input, oversight, or control.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I won't be there, but I certainly support everybody's right to voice their opinion, and there, like you said, there'll be rallies all over the country.
And I want to emphasize this is a peaceful protest.
Right.
This is rallying behind the flag,
right,
and the Constitution.
As it has happened at the past rallies too.
Yes. The last one that was held here, and by the way, this is organized nationally.
Right.
And then the places are chosen to have these. We had around 350 people.
Yeah.
And since it would be like from 10 to 12, maybe they weren't all there at the same time. But if you came for an hour and then somebody else comes for an hour, or whatever. But in total, we had about 350 people there, both parties and no parties. Right.
Well, I saw photos from the last one, and I really was curious how many people would turn out, and it looked like they had a very respectable turnout.
Well, it did. I mean, now somebody like me, I'm not going to go stand for 2 hours, but I'll go and be there for half an hour or an hour, until my back gives out on me and I have to go home. So, you may not see 350 people there all at one time.
Right.
But you still have that many people who've attended and
that's
registered as having attended.
And that's this Saturday from 10 to 12.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Margie.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Margie and I are continuing our series of interviews with candidates for a political office that'll be on the May primary ballot. And today, the guest in hot seat is A.J. Lewis, and Mr. Lewis is a candidate for Nelson County Sheriff. Is a Democrat?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, A.J., welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
And for those of you who are like, Lewis. Well, he's the son of Ray Lewis, who spent 27 years as a city police officer, and then once he retired, went to work in the Nelson County Sheriff's Office. So you're kind of the son of a legend. I remember Ray Lewis way back. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm underneath that Ray Lewis blanket where everyone knew who I was, and just by looking at me, and it helped me out a lot in the community. So it's.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about your career as a police officer and why you're threw your hat in the ring for sheriff.
Yes, sir. So, growing up as second law enforcement
generation,
yes, sir. Watching my dad, seeing how he would treat people and the community and how they would just go up to him and talk to him and everything like that. It meant a lot to me. So, and I always wanted to get in this profession because he was a role model and a mentor with that. So, so I got in law enforcement July 11th of 2011 in Springfield. Of course, back then it was pretty hard to get in the city police and the sheriff's office because they like to hire laterals. They like for you to start somewhere else and then bring you. Then they'll bring you in.
After somebody else has already paid for your training.
Yes, ma'am, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
right.
Yes, ma'am. But I served a few years over in Springfield, and I left there as a sergeant. I was one of the youngest sergeants in the state of Kentucky at that time. And actually, after the academy, so I got out on April 13th, and it took 7 months to get promoted to sergeant out there. So my first in-service class was back to sergeant school. I had to go back up to the academy for a month, and I was like, I didn't like that. But I kind of joke about with my dad because it took him 10 years to get a sergeant, and it took me 7 months. So that's a little inside joke at the house and everything. But I then came over to the sheriff's office in 2021 and served the community because I was back home and seeing a lot of familiar faces and people and things like that I deal with growing up. And ended up going over to the city police in did I say? I think I said it's 2021 already, but city police over in 2021, sheriff's office. I left there I think in 2013. I came over just 2013. Yeah. So now I'm serving inside the city limits, and which I'm still serving, the county, but I'm just doing it in a smaller box. But I guess I love doing it, and this is my community. So.
And what rank do you hold now?
I'm a patrol officer. I work night shift.
Right.
Actually, I just got off this morning, so running off no sleep, but I'm making it happen. So, but I'm a patrol officer and work with a few good guys that we work pretty well together.
Well, I think working overnight, I think it's a whole different kind. And this is just my perception. It's a whole different world than working daytime sometimes.
It is. It is.
But anyway, thank you for your service.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Helping keep us safe. And as we talked before the show, I have a tremendous respect for law enforcement because, you're on patrol around the city, and you get a call to respond to a location, and you don't always, every call is different, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
But you never know what you're going to walk up into.
No.
And that scares the bejesus out of me, is just because you could have somebody who was drunk and disorderly and even violent,
right? Or
something, just like a motorist broke down or something. You don't always know what you're getting into, so
correct.
You have to develop skills to quickly assess what's going on.
Yes, sir.
And especially your own personal safety.
Yes, sir.
And safety of those around you.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, that's got to be an acquired skill that I don't know. You may have picked it up through your bloodline.
Yes, sir. I had a little early training. I did a lot of ride-alongs with him when I was younger.
Okay.
And that was my. I loved that. So.
Well, I'll tell you, as a journalist, I wish I had done ride-alongs more. as a younger journalist, because that's when you get just a little taste of what it's like to be a police officer.
Yes, sir.
And that was an incredibly valuable experience, especially if you're in the business of writing about what police officers do.
Right. Oh, yes.
A.J., tell us about what are some of the reasons why you are running for sheriff now, and the qualities that and the skills and qualities that you think that you bring that will be useful in that office.
Yes. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, is run for Nelson County Sheriff and serve this community. But I guess the biggest thing I would say is the community. This is, like I said, I love my community. I love giving back to it when I can. I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that are positive for the community, and
well, name some of those. That's what the public wants to know.
So what I do is I team up with Cash Express every year, and we collect toys and coats. Toys and coats, it can be used or new, and basically we take those donations and we are able to provide Christmas for kids.
Oh, okay.
And it all stays here locally here in Nelson County.
Right.
So, and I reach out to Lisa Drake, which she's very amazing with what she does, and we kind of coordinate with her. I attend schools, go talk to the kids and things like that, if it's like, mentor thing. I actually serve on the board with you on the Educational Foundation board.
Yes, you do.
So I'm kind of the wallflower in there. So
I'm kind of a wallflower too. So.
But it's good, and I do coach. So I've been coaching. I think over 10 years now, 10, 11 years, and coach with the rec department and things like that. Now I coach with the Bardstown City Schools.
Okay.
So right now my schedule is.
What are you coaching there?
Football, basketball, baseball.
Oh, okay.
Right now, and it is very hard campaigning right now because I'm helping out with girls flag football, boys flag football. My oldest son, he's playing baseball, so anywhere that they need me and things like that. And I do it for the kids because the athletic directors, they called me and they said, AJ, these kids don't want to play unless you coach them. I was like, sign me up. So and I do it for them. But
all right,
that's great.
And if there's any kids listening, I do play Santa Claus when he can't make it to the Nelson County. So we go to the schools, and I team up with Queen of Nelson, Eastern Stars. Which they put the event on, and they allowed me to be Santa for them every year, and which they do a lot. Miss Darlene and Myra, she's part of that too. So they serve a lot of the kids and stuff. So it's pretty amazing. And I can go on and on. I think there's like a lot of stuff that me and my wife do. So
and talk specifically about the skills that you need as a chief officer, the sheriff.
So yes. So with being a sheriff, it's like as that role, you have to basically have that mindset of basically wanting to serve this community,
right?
Because that's a pretty big deal, and
right, it is.
These people got to listen to your story, understand you, see what kind of person you are. So I bring that, the leadership with it's basically serving as a sergeant, stuff like that. I do a lot of stuff at work together as team building.
And I achieved that at an early age.
Yes, and which I was very grateful for that. You got to have compassion with treating people fair, and especially in a small town like Bardstown. Right. You deal with the same people every time. So that's you got to understand their story before, making a decision and things like that. But you got to be fair, transparent, have accountability, and to basically be willing to serve that community, whether they like you or not. Like, you still have to serve that person. So.
Well, you related a story to us about a happening this winter.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think it's pretty indicative of that. But do you want to tell our radio audience about that?
Yes, ma'am. So I won't say his name, but I'm pretty sure he would be happy for me to talk about this later on. So, me being a city officer, patrolling and things like that. And I grew up right down here on 3rd Street.
Right.
And I seen what it looked like a big trash bag over by the Civic Center.
And this was back during the really bitterly cold time that we had.
The weather changed pretty cold quickly that night, so the Civic Center was not open at that time. However, I went over, me being an officer, we get paid to be nosy, so I went over to go check it out, and it was a gentleman sitting there asleep, and he just had a thin blanket on, and he had hand warmers laying on his body, in his pockets and everything. And I asked him, I said, sir, how long have you been out here? And it took him quite a bit to respond because it was so cold, and I was like, how about I sit you in my car so we can get warm? And he said that'll be good. And he couldn't walk because his feet were so cold. So I ended up picking him up and cradling him to the car and put him back there. And I asked him, what's his story? And he basically said he's currently homeless, and he has some mental health issues like bipolar, and he's also schizophrenic. And I offered to get him some food because it's been like a day and a half since he ate anything, and me thinking, if I'm gonna eat something, it's gonna warm me up pretty quick. So I went ahead and was able to get him some food. However, he had a warrant, and it was out of Nelson County warrant. And I sat there, explained it to him. I said, hey, I'm sorry you got a warrant, but look at it this way. You got 4 days of a warm place to stay, especially with the weather as it is. And he's very understanding and things like that.
Well, I was probably very happy to get in out of the weather.
He actually was, because as I took him down to the Nelson County Corrections, which I always, try to go in, and if they see me bring them in without handcuffs, they know they're okay. But I was able to give him some resources, basically to help him get on his feet and everything like that. And I told him, I said, if there's anything I can do, please let me know. Just ask for the biggest guy they got on the police department. So they'll know who. So, and he said, can I tell you something? And I said, yeah, sure. And he's like, I have bad run-ins with law enforcement, but you're different. And he said, can I give a hug? And I said, yeah, sure. I'm a big teddy bear, so I gave him a hug and everything. And that's what I like, is being able to, go that extra mile to help somebody and get them ahead. So that's basically, I guess, in my DNA. My dad did it, so I do it.
Yeah.
Well, A.J., the Nelson County Sheriff, the Sheriff's Office, I guess they wear multiple hats. For example, they're responsible for court security.
Yes, sir.
And also taking property taxes. And I mean, that's a huge role that the Sheriff's Office plays. It's spelled out in the state constitution. And Nelson County is a little unique because of the agreement between the Sheriff's Office and fiscal court, with fiscal court funding either 17 or 18 officer positions that make up the road patrol.
Yes, sir.
So that's very unique in Kentucky, anyway. But constitutionally, law enforcement isn't one of the higher jobs that a sheriff does in a regular county. But you basically have expanded duties as sheriff to oversee all this.
Yes, sir.
And of course, our current sheriff's been in, I think he's seeking his third term, I think.
Yes, sir.
But what do you see, what would you bring to the job? And is there any particular changes that you would like to see? Or is it, a lot of times a department, and you know this from experience, a department, the top of the heap, the head of the department really sets the tone for all the department underneath.
Right.
And depending on that leadership, it can be, sometimes it can be stressful, and I've been in situations like that where, there was stress induced from the leadership and demands and all this, but I won't get into my ancient history. But at the top, you set the tone, you set the standard for the rest of the department. What do you bring to what would you bring to the sheriff's office that would make you a standout candidate? And are any changes that any improvements you would like to make?
So first and foremost, what I would love to bring is dealing with mental health. This is a big deal that law enforcement is dealing with a lot lately. For instance, as you were saying, we go into the unknown calls.
Right.
And I explained to you all with my partner, shout out to Tyler Livers, but he said, we're blue canaries, like in the coal mine, and we're the first ones going into the unknown and having to deal with these people that we serve every day. So with law enforcement, we try to solve the issue and move on that day because we have so many calls. A lot of them are welfare checks that we deal with, and people dealing with mental health. But one thing I would love to bring is a social worker, have them on to the team where they serve this community, and that goes from basically having a social worker where they're able to get outside resources and bring them into Nelson County for us and then help these people. So we have, it goes from homeless, mental health, domestic, men and women who are in domestics that need answers and need resources and everything like that. I want this social worker to be able to provide these resources to not just a few people, but all the people here in Nelson County. I see city and county, and it is a big job. It is a big job, and I think the person when elected sheriff that I will bring in the right person for that job, and I would also like somebody to speak Spanish. We have a lot of Hispanic community here, and
that's very important.
Yes, and it's something that will be for everyone. Right. But yes, definitely.
Somebody doing double duty, being an officer and speaking Hispanic.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
The thought crossed my mind that maybe this would be an opportunity for the sheriff's office and the city police department to share some sort of social worker arrangement. I mean, I'm sure there's enough work to keep one person busy, but sometimes that I think it's a wonderful idea because officers generally aren't trained to deal with mental health issues, and you do the best you can based on your own experience.
Yes, sir.
And I think that and we've seen the benefits of having a social worker available for handling issues like that, and that's been a tremendous benefit. And I think that it would be a big. I was always impressed the city police department made that move when larger departments.
Yes.
It's not apparently on their radar screen, or they don't want to make that move. So hopefully that'll be something that'll come to fruition because it'll be a big benefit.
Right.
And a wonderful resource for officers who are like, well, what do I do now?
Right. Yeah, and that's one thing too is with a social worker, I want them to be able to provide families that are facing mental health issues those resources so they can understand this a little more. And of course, not just mental health for the community, but also for the people who serve this community. First responders, like law enforcement, fire department, EMS. We see a lot of things, and we deal with a lot of things, and we have to store that in the back of our head and keep on moving. And I guess, and I call her my cheat code, my wife. So she is a licensed, director of, I forgot. It's going off no sleep, but she basically a big wig in the mental health community, and she taught me a lot dealing with mental health, and usually when I have issues, if I'm something like that at work and something bothers me, which I call her up and she's able to talk to me through it and things like that. But I want to provide that with the deputies and officers and everything, and not just them, but their family too, because
sometimes we take work home with us.
We do.
We do. And I think that's absolutely a wonderful point, AJ. Is that we depend on our first responders, but to see the things sometimes first responders have to see and live through and process. It would qualify certainly as post-traumatic stress disorder, just to have to deal mentally with some of the issues that you guys see on a sometimes daily basis. You don't want to, but you guys are the ones that deal with it.
Yes, sir.
So your mental health and just to be able to process all these things you see is critical. And and it's how I can understand. I've known officers who just burned out.
It is.
And I think sometimes you can't keep all those memories in without having a way to release that pressure, the mental. It's hard. It's hard to deal with as a regular person, much less see it on a daily basis like you guys do.
It is.
And I think it's really dangerous for both people who suffer and for police officers, because sometimes they're very agitated and appear dangerous which results in them getting shot, because the officer perceives it as coming at him or her, and it's really part of their their condition,
training.
And if you realize that, if you know that person is having a mental issue, you take it under consideration, that they're generally not a danger to other people, but mostly to themselves.
Oh yes. And I guess that's one good thing about being a small town, is if we get a call and we know that person is got some mental issues or something like that, and they have a good rapport with a certain law enforcement officer, we'll send that person. So it's been multiple times where I go and
because you've already established a relationship.
Yes, ma'am. And it goes a long ways, but however, it's just we can't be there all the time. We have our own life and things like that. So.
Well, AJ, we need to stop and take a commercial break.
Yes, sir. All
right, you're listening to Bradford Brooks and our very special interview with A.J. Lewis, a Democratic candidate for Nelson County Sheriff. And we're going to pause for some commercial messages, and we'll be right back with more with A.J. Lewis. Stay tuned.
Your WBRT weather forecast is brought to you by the Bluegrass Tavern at 2340 New Haven Road in Bardstown. Stay tuned to their Facebook page for daily specials, musical acts, and events. The Bluegrass Tavern in Bardstown. Sunshine around the area today. Look for a high 73. For tonight, a 30% chance of isolated overnight showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly cloudy, a low 58. And then for Thursday, a 30% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms through early morning. Otherwise, sunshine and a high Thursday, 84. And that's your forecast from your hometown country radio station, WBRT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Bardstown Mills Farm, Pet, and Outdoor has been serving the farming community of Nelson and the surrounding counties proudly for 66 years. Taking care of your farm needs is priority at the mill. With a full-service feed mill, special mixes are no problem. The mill makes a house mix of sweet feeds, hog mixes, goat feed, chicken mixes, and cattle feeds. Heavy-duty farm gates, hay rings, and feed bunks are all available at Bardstown Mills. Inside the mill, you can find medicines, wormers, chemicals, seeds, and much, much more. If you're looking for it, odds are it's at Bardstown Mills. Large selection of fencing supplies, both wood and T-post, field fence, and wood plank fence, all on hand. Come on over to Bardstown Mills and find what you need for your farm. Or call 502-348-3949. 1393 Withrow Court on Highway 245.
It's seafood time at Simply Seafood Market and Cajun Diner. The Bayou is in Bardstown. This Lenten season, stop by. We're your seafood headquarters. We're at 1482 Boston Road. We're open Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. The diner's open from 11 to 8. On Sunday, 11 to 5 for the market. The diner from 12 to 5. Crawfish is in season, cooked or chilled. Fresh, unshucked oysters. You can grill it all up with Dan O's seasoning. Yum, yum. We've got both regular, spicy, and chipotle. Come in and enjoy a cup of jambalaya, gumbo, or red beans and rice served with cornbread hush puppies. So come see us this Lenten season and any season at Simply Seafood Market and Diner. We're located at 1482 Boston Road, right here in Bardstown.
Hometown Radio, WBRT.
Welcome back to the Bradford and Brooks Show, live on WBRT 97.1 FM and 1320 AM. Also, streaming live at WBRTcountry.com.
All right, you're back with Bradford and Brooks, Jim Brooks, Margie Bradford, and our very special studio guest, A.J. Lewis, who's a Democratic candidate for Nelson County Sheriff. Now, A.J., before we get into other topics, I just want to touch briefly.
Yes, sir.
There has been a video clip circulating on social media, purportedly showing you with, I think, a juvenile in a hallway
yes, sir.
at the sheriff's office. And of course, that goes back when you were working with the sheriff's office. Now I will tell you, this is putting a little clip out there like this. It's an extremely unfair tactic to try to besmirch your reputation as an officer. I mean, clearly, you've served the community well.
Thank you.
And of course, if you weren't running for an office, that probably would never have surfaced.
Right.
But so. Anyway, it's unfair, it's out of context, and anyway, I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond, because I think that, if we're, people who are going to vote in the Democratic primary need to know, talk what you can about this. And I know, things were, I don't know how this showed up or who posted it. It's just, it's almost a sign of desperation in my book for somebody to try to knock a candidate like this with information out of context. Anyway, what's your comments on that?
Yes, sir. So this video that was posted was about 6 years ago, and it was taken from inside the Nelson County Sheriff's Office when I served there. And a certain individual apparently had possession of this video and posted it on me, and it was an attack on my character. And of course, me, it kind of hurt because not everyone's seeing this video, but they're not understanding with the video. Of course, back then there was a lot of parents that reached out to me and was asking me, hey, can you get on my child? They're kind of out of control and everything like that. And I did that for a lot of people in the community because I didn't want them to go down this path.
So you were helping parents put the fear of God into a kid.
Pretty much, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And so that video, there was nothing said on it. It just shows that little clip, but I was able to, give a response and everything like that. And there was a lot of people that reached out from the community. They was like, AJ, I know you. This is not your character.
Right.
And those people, I appreciate them reaching out because they wanted to know instead of just going off the video and just quickly responding. But like I said, it was a attack on my character. I do a lot of good things in the community, and running for office, I guess, they're going to try to come at you any way that they can.
Right.
So,
Right.
But you got to have tough skin to, I guess, keep on moving. And
That's true.
And but now that at that time of the video, I was trying to, just set the young gentleman straight, and it shows me basically walking into a room with him. However, that room has a camera.
Right.
But that wasn't brought up, and there's 3 supervisors in the video, but if it was anything, I guess, was done wrong, I would not be able to be coaching and dealing with the youth today.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the fact there's 3 supervisors in the video too.
Correct.
I think,
Correct.
There've been some repercussions from anything wrong that you would have if you'd have done anything wrong.
Correct. Yes. Okay. But it's getting handled, and we're moving forward with it. Okay. And like I said, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We all do things, and now what I was doing, like basically scared straight on these kids today. No, it's different times and things like that. But at that time, that was the best method for me to like get on these kids, and it was never,
Well, it hasn't been that long since we were peddling kids in high school. So,
my dad told me about that.
Tactics do change over the years.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, anyway, to me, it's so unfair to have something like that dropped on social media, and I know that's that's not representative of your character or your police work.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
and it was sanctioned at the time.
Right.
Evidently, you had 3 supervisors there.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I can tell you as a parent, and my wife and I talk about this from time to time, it doesn't matter what we have said, especially to our son, but, we'll give advice. Well, that advice means nothing until it comes from a third party, an independent person who's not related to them, who's not their mother or father. And then they'll listen. Right. And that's just being a young person.
Yes, yes, sir.
That's just how it is.
And there's been a lot of youth in the community that that has reached out to me, and their parents said we will be glad to do a video to show what type of person you are and what have you done to help us with our kids. And I was greatly appreciated of that. And my campaign team, they was. It was funny because my campaign team is all women, so there's all women and one guy. So, but they have been very solid in helping me and making me move forward, and they've been in the trenches trying to get these people to like respond to these people and saying thank you. We will use this later on.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
But they like I said, they know who I am. So
all right. Well, AJ, we've got about 10 minutes left. Let's. are there other topics about running for sheriff you want to talk about, or your background in law enforcement?
So I would love to like mental health is the main one, but I would love to get the community more involved with and let them see what we do as in law enforcement, like Citizens Academy.
Sure.
We did have that before, but I want to try to bring that back and try to just pick random people out in the community, and if we have scenarios that we have happened here in Nelson County that are like case closed, maybe use those as a scenario for this person to interact with, like what would they do in that situation, and just paint that picture a little bit better, and have a mock trial and things that we have to go through as law enforcement, and but that's one big thing. I want to get the community involved in that. Try to basically do fundraisers and things like that
for the needy children.
Yes, ma'am. And basically we're able to give back. And there's several people in the community that I know that they reach out to me, and they ask me every year. They was like, can you help us? We need some kids. We want to help out. And one of them is he's actually a professional bowler. They call him the pro with the fro, Kyle Troop. So he's a good friend of me and my wife, and he reaches out every year. He doesn't live here in Nelson County, but he does help a lot of the youth in Nelson County. So greatly appreciate that. I want to basically try to be involved with the schools, work well with the city police and school resource officers, because we're all on the same team. We serve this community. We got to make sure that everyone's safe and things like that. Try to find like new technology and new ways to bring here in Nelson County. And if it means that if somebody wants to go off to a in-service class that's federally federally funded, then they can go and they can bring those resources back, and we can bring here, and just be involved with the community more.
Years ago, Mayor Guthrie had a citizens advisory committee, which encompassed a lot of people. I mean, it was not a select group. Probably if you had called the mayor's office about something, they put you on there. And then he'd have, a couple of times a year meet. But people had a chance to publicly say, what about so-and-so and so? Or, I thought it was a great way of involving a lot of people in the community without being on the city council or fiscal court or anything. This allows people. So, something like that where people have the chance to bring new ideas and old complaints.
And that's something that I want to.
Something like that could very well be. But I really like the idea of having people being able to go on patrol.
Yes, ma'am.
And because evidently for Jim it was a very great learning experience.
Yeah, and that's something too that I also want to do is meet with people in these communities like New Haven, New Hope. Just maybe every 6 months. Get them, maybe take them out to dinner, and sit down with them, ask them what their complaints are, what are their issues that are in that area. How can we help?
Well, yes, just to make better public relations in the far-flung communities. I mean, because I know that and I don't know, but I would guess that the people in the smaller communities, feel the fact that Bardstown, there's so much that revolves around what happens in Bardstown, because we're the bigger community, that they might feel like that they're not getting maybe as much attention as they'd like to have.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'll definitely want to be involved. Like I said, it's a county position, so I want to include everyone and show that that's what a sheriff is supposed to do. So,
well, AJ, while the sheriff is an independent agency, the office currently has that agreement for Nelson County Fiscal Court to fund basically the road patrol officers.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes that relationship between sheriff's office and fiscal court can get a little stressed sometimes. When I know that the current sheriff, he lobbied hard with the previous judge executive to increase the officer's pay, the deputy's pay, because compared to other surrounding agencies, they were well under, and people were leaving. The dollar talks, And so anyway, when Judge Hutchins came in, he made it a point to raise the officer's pay. Now, where it is now or how competitive it is now, I can't speak to, but the important point, there's been discussion between the sheriff and fiscal court regarding vehicles, and the judge executive even discussed the idea of taking the funding from the sheriff's office for those officers and starting a county police department.
Yes.
Now, I have my own personal thoughts about that. That didn't come to fruition. But anyway, just the point I'm trying to make is that you also have to manage a relationship between your office, if you're elected sheriff, and Nelson Fiscal Court, and the judge and 5 magistrates.
Yes, sir.
So is this, you feel like you can manage that? Because sometimes it's a real balancing act,
Yes, sir. I'm a team player, so it's like, I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to provide the best equipment for the deputies that that serve this community. Means like if it's this, like I said, certain type of training or equipment that they need, I can present that to the fiscal court and let them know like this is why, and then maybe show them like some scenarios, give them the pros and cons of what this can do. But I'm more of a hands-on type person, so I would rather them, hey, let's show you why this is, or something. Like, I'm not saying like, getting a bite suit or nothing like that, but just show like how this can be beneficial for these deputies that are serving the community.
Right.
And where that money's going to, and showing like, I guess the transparency with it. And
Right. Well, personally, I think all the magistrates should be required to go to a citizens academy, especially with the sheriff's office, since that's the agency they help fund.
I agree. That's a good idea, because it's
if they they write the checks, but if they don't see what happens with that money and the work it's doing, I think that's critically important. But that's just me sitting on my high horse, talking about stuff. But there is that relationship to manage, and I think that cooler heads hopefully prevail. Sometimes things get a little heated.
Yes, sir.
But I'm sure you've done a lot of training in de-escalation. And there's certain times that relationship where one person or another needs to de-escalate and think what's best for the community, and rather than just how angry you might be that something was said or done or whatever.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's one thing about de-escalation is I'm a big fan of that. It was, I guess, dealing with my dad, like seeing how he did it, and you can get by and get more effective results by just talking to that person and things like that. So not just just in law enforcement, but I can bring that to fiscal court and showing them like, hey, I'm a team player. I want what's best for Nelson County, and and that's what I plan on to do. So.
All right, well, AJ, we're just about down to the wire. Any final comments for our WBRT audience, either a radio audience or our Facebook Live audience?
I would say to those, if you're not sure if you're not registered to vote, be sure to check that out. Also on my sheriff page on Facebook, A.J. Lewis for Nelson County Sheriff, we put a lot of information on there to help people if they need to be registered to vote. If you're going through some mental issues or anything like that, reach out and get help. That's take care of yourself. That's more important in today's life.
Right, and if you have a family member who you think needs help, watch over them and encourage them as well.
Yes, sir.
To seek some sort of assistance. There's lots of resources out there.
Yes, sir. And May 19th, I ask that you keep me in mind when voting. If you forget, just look for Adrian, A.J. Lewis, and if you forget that, it's the top one. So it's the top one.
So your top ballot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, that Democratic ballot.
Yes, sir. That's Democratic ballot. Yeah, like I said, I serve everybody.
We have to remember there's two ballots.
Being a Republican, I'll be on the other side of the ballot.
It's all right. We got November 2.
A.J., thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. And I just want to say that when I gave Miss Bradford a call, she was eating beans and cornbread, and she did not offer me to come over and get some. So I'm a little hurt by that still. So I'm waiting.
Man, you were eating high.
I'm waiting for her to pull out of here with no seatbelt on because I'm gonna get her. So.
All right, well, thank you, AJ.
All right, thank you.
Can I just put you off to a little later time?
That'll work.
That'll do it for Bradford and Brooks, and we'll let Margie and AJ make their beans and cornbread plans for a later day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week with another candidate on the hot seat here on Bradford and Brooks.
Thank you.
Have a great week.